We are doing a Dynasty rookie mock draft. I have the board here if you're watching on the video. If you're listening on the audio, we're just going to announce our picks. But we have 3 rounds.
Yeah, because that's what the majority of drafts are.
That's
anyway.
what we do. That's our standard. So we've got 10 teams. We kind of picked right around where we're going to go in our Dynasty League. So I finished bottom barrel of our league. I've picked 2. Lucas has picked 4, but I believe you traded with most of that.
Yeah.
And then
he actually traded. He traded my pick. Or I traded.
Yeah.
I should have like pick 7, I think.
And then Nick won, so he'll be the last.
You guys should get used to hearing that, by the way, especially in this league.
3 rounds. We're just going to go off the top. We're going to let the computer draft, not our picks, just to see where they have them, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So starting the rookie draft, Bijan goes 1-1. I think that's pretty good for everyone.
Surprising. Never would have guessed that.
Mm-hmm. And then this is the consensus pick. It's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like where Jordan Addison is. I think he has the potential to be the T. Higgins to Justin Jefferson's Jamar Chase. That is a severely pass-heavy offense. Dalvin Cook's kind of up in the air on what he's going to do as of right now, I believe. And then T.J. Hawkinson is there. He's going to take a couple passes away. But pretty much for his position, he has to battle Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. And that's a losing battle. No one's going to argue that.
An interesting thing about Gibbs, though, I did see is they want to play him at wide receiver and slot a lot this year as well as running back. Yeah, so that's huge upside for him if he's going to play the slot and everything.
So for me, I'm going to pick Gibbs here, but this is more of what you think you need. If you like the wide receiver core here, you can definitely take Addison at the 1-2, and I wouldn't think anything of it. Me personally, I might honestly even take Jordan Addison because I have a decent running back. So I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs here.
Yeah. Before Lucas starts his pick, whenever you guys are doing these rookie drafts, you have to kind of just take who you believe in the most, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to draft somebody that I don't really believe in with my pick because most of these guys, and I say this up with a heavy heart, but most of these guys probably won't pan out to superstar talent. So if you are high on somebody, you believe in him, draft him because the chances of him being there on your next pick are very slim. Yeah. So I'd rather reach in a rookie draft than try to settle for somebody later.
Yeah, so for sure. Get someone you like.
The other big thing with it too is like if you think of this like kind of like almost like you're playing a Madden franchise, like you want to draft positions of need for your team. Unless it's a player that is like just above and beyond everybody else. Like if you're 1-1, you have to take Bijan whether you need a running back or not.
Yes. And this is a 1 quarterback league. He's probably the 1-1 in Superflex, but just to be clear, this is a 1 quarterback league.
Yeah.
And it's PPR as well.
Yes.
But if you're 1-2 and your receivers suck, take Jordan Addison, take Smith and Jigba if you believe in Smith and Jigba. Don't take Gibbs just because you think
that's because don't take him. Yeah, don't take him because everybody else is.
Yeah, don't take him just because everybody else says you need to take him 1-2. Take what your team needs because Dynasty is a very, very, very long league, and you want to be competitive every year. You don't want to have 6 good running backs on your team because only 4 of them can play in our format, or if you're in a 1 flex, only 3 of them can play. So there's no point in having all of those good running backs when you can get a good receiver.
Who are you taking, Luke? Here
so going at the 1-3 for people listening is JSN.
Well, I'm going to take Jordan Addison because I think that he is the best option receiver-wise in the draft by far.
Wow.
Okay, so the board just ran off. At 1-5, we have Quentin Johnston. At 1-6, we have Zay Flowers. At 1-7 is a tight end, which is a little bit of a reach for the most standard drafts, which is Dalton Kincaid, which – me personally, I don't hate. If I was around there, I would look there as well. But at the 1-8 is Zach Charbonnet, and at the 1-9 is A-Chain.
I'm a little surprised about that pick, honestly.
Yeah.
So that leaves Nick at the 1-10.
This is actually – I was not expecting to have all 4 quarterbacks still on the board right here.
So the other thing about dynasty drafts is quarterbacks go a lot later because rookie quarterbacks, you don't know how they're going to do. But I think this is around the
All
best time to take Anthony Richardson just because of his boomer bust rate with his rushing.
yeah, but all four of these quarterbacks are starting.
Yeah.
All four of them are starting, so it's not like one of these guys are going to sit. Is it Irsay, the Colts GM?
Yeah.
Or
Jim Irsay.
yeah, he came out and said that Richardson was going to start. Steichen said Richardson's going to start. And fun fact, Steichen was responsible for Herbert and for Jalen Hurts.
That is
So
a fun
again,
fact.
if you go back to the beginning of the episode with what I said about Hurts and drafting ceiling, I'm going to have to go with Anthony Richardson because if he hits and he's what he could be, he's going to be insane. He could be the next Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Based off of talent, based off of physical, all
He
that kind of
definitely
stuff.
has the best fantasy potential in this draft.
Yes.
Just because of his rushing and athleticism.
100%. So I'm going to take him here at the 210, or I'm sorry, at the 110, and then I am going to turn around and pick somebody else, and I wasn't prepared for this second pick right here. There are a couple guys here I'm looking at. I'm looking here at Josh Downs maybe for the little bit of pairing for the Richardson and Josh Downs stack. I know that there's Michael Pittman there still, but these two guys are young. Mingo had a young breakout year in college, so he's been good for a while. Now, I'm not too high on Miller like these other guys are. Again, I'm not too big on any of the running backs right here. Now, if this was our actual league, I would honestly probably take another quarterback because I only have one good quarterback right now. But for the sake of the mock draft, I think I'm going to go with Josh Downs here and try to get a Richardson and Downs stack for later on my team. So that's what I'm going to take here at the 2-1.
I don't hate it. All right, so running off the board, Nick had Anthony Richardson at the 110, Josh Downs at the 2-1 turn. Marvin Mims Jr. went 2-2, Kendre Miller went 2-3, Jonathan Mingo went 2-4, Michael Mayer at 2-5, and then Rashee Rice at 2-6. So, Lucas, you are up with the 2-7.
So with this pick, going back to what we said in the first round about taking who you believe in, I'm going to take somebody who is a lot farther down the board than right here, but I don't think he would be there at my next pick. I'm going to take Jalen Hyatt, and I'm going to take him. His projections are very low right now, which I don't understand because I think that he's going to go into New York as a wide receiver too, and he's a very explosive receiver. So I think in the second round is great value for me to get him all the way down over receivers and running backs who probably would be like wide receiver 3 or 4 on their team or like running back 2 or 3.
Yeah, that definitely, like Lucas said, take who you like more than the league standard. I was definitely looking at Jalen Hyatt here at the 2-9, but he went at the 2-7. Tajay Spears went at the 2-8, so now I am up at the 2-9. I like Jaden Reed, but I think here I would probably go with one of the quarterbacks. I think they have a better chance of establishing themselves than Jalen Reed does in the Green Bay offense. A lot of them are 1 to 2 year players. They just picked up 2 tight ends, so there's a lot of passes going around. So he's got to try to earn a roster spot there. With Jordan Love, who's not a great quarterback to start with already, not saying down the line that Jaden Reed's not going to be good, but I think either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud here has a better chance of being an actual player on your roster. And I'm just going to go with who I like more, which is CJ Stroud. I think he's a better quarterback out of the 2. That's not what happened during the draft, but that's who I like more.
Oh, wow.
So the 2-10 is Bryce Young. So like I said, 1 and 2 there. That's where I like him. And Tanks Bigsby went at the 3-1, starting our third round. So that brings me back to the third. And right here, I guess I'll just take Jaden Reed. Like I said, I liked him earlier, but I'll go with it's perfectly for me. And then the fan favorite, Roschon Johnson, went 3-3. So now Lucas is up at the 3-4.
So here I am kind of torn between taking the Detroit Lions new tight end in Laporta. I don't know a lot about him, but I know he went to Iowa, and I know Iowa produces great tight ends.
True.
That was a fact.
I don't like any of their running backs. I don't really like any of their receivers except maybe Keyshawn Butte. He was going to be a top 10 pick this year, and then he had a bad season, didn't play a lot, new coach. but I'm torn between a tight end and Will Levis currently. And I think for the upside, I'm going to take Will Levis just because I think he's going to be a good quarterback, and I think he's going to start sooner than later.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, Will Levis here is a good pick at the 3-4. A third round is pretty much just throwing at a dartboard.
yep.
Running off the picks real quick for Nick goes. Laporta went 3-5. Cedric Tillman went 3-6. Booty went 3-7. Musgraves went 3-8. And Brown went 3-9. So now Nick is up with the last pick at the 3-10.
As I was sitting here at the 2-1 staring down the other three quarterbacks, they all left. And I'm glad they did because I'm drafting for my team needs and my dynasty, and I need quarterbacks. So right here, I'm looking heavily at Hendon Hooker, who was drafted by the Lions. Jared Goff is entering a contract year. If he has another mediocre year where they miss the playoffs or they just get in and lose or they just suck, he's out the door, and Hendon Hooker's next in line. So this is going to give him a year to sit, to watch, to learn, to progress, to show himself in practice, and then he'll have a whole offseason by himself with the offense, with the coaches, with the receivers. And I know I'm taking two quarterbacks, and you guys say whatever about it, but I like Hendon Hooker here in the late third round, just because he was a dog at Tennessee. He's a project. I'm taking two projects here, but I think at least one of them will pan out. So I'm going to take Hendon Hooker here at the 3-10. Where he should go. This could be a sneaky pick late if you're set in dynasty. Like, not to brag, but like I am, I don't need a quarterback. I don't need a position to fill right now, so I can stash him for a year or two. And if he doesn't pan out, see you on the waivers. You know, it's not a huge deal. So I'm gonna take Hendon Hooker right here.
Okay, so finishing off our mock draft, Hendon Hooker went at the 3-10. Just going over what's left on the big board here.
Yeah,
I like
notable names.
Michael Wilson at Arizona. I think he's got a good chance. I hate this because it's against my sleeper, but Luke Schoonmaker is a viable pick at tight end if you need one because he only has Jake Ferguson to fight against.
Cool little story about Deuce Vaughn right here. His dad was a longtime worker or something with the Dallas Cowboys, and whenever he got drafted by Dallas, his dad actually got to call in and do the pick and stuff. So that's, if anybody wants to draft off of a good story, Deuce Vaughn's your guy.
If you're a Texans fan, Tank Dell on the board probably won't get drafted. You could probably get him in waivers, or you could take him in the third round if you like him. I think that he might be a pretty good option. Houston doesn't have very many receivers. They picked up Robert Woods. John Mechie's back, but, I mean, Tank Dell and John Mechie could be a pretty nice duo, honestly.
I like if you are an anti-Musgraves fan for the Green Bay tight end, Tucker Kraft went almost right behind him in the draft. So that's another tight end if you need one. This is definitely the class, in my opinion, to get your tight end.
Yeah, Darnell Washington. I mean, Freiermuth's there, but
yeah, that's the only thing that worries me about Washington.
I just think the value of Darnell Washington is higher than Freiermuth's value, just because Darnell Washington's a dog. So
fair.
All right, so there's our 2023 way too early. Well, I guess not for Dynasty because the draft just happened, but
a lot of people just drafted. A lot of people drafted the Monday after the draft.
So there you go. If we're late, we're sorry. If not, there's our board. If you want to go off that, you're more than welcome.